I think him going to 170 to fight Islam, if Islam wins, is a stretch, you know. Islam's big, man. I've never seen Ilia in person, but he seems smaller. I know, obviously, he can knock anyone out. I do think if they fight, Ilia can knock anybody out from 45 to 170. He has the skills, the power, the technique, and but we've just never seen him in there with somebody that big and somebody with that caliber of wrestling. But I think he should defend the 55 title a few times before that's talked about. We'll see.
I mean, we see what happens. You know, if he does that on the run that he's doing, I mean, it's kind of hard to deny that. You know, and that'd be a freaking huge super fight. And with him having the punching power he has, is just unreal, bro. So you can't count him out or whatever in anything. But I mean, who's to say? You know, that's not my job. I mean, if he goes up.
Dustin Poirier recently gave his take on the highly anticipated clash between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, offering some surprising insights. Meanwhile, Arman Tsarukyan suggested that Topuria still needs to prove himself against elite-level grapplers, someone like Arman himself. He pointed out that many of Ilia's past opponents weren't in peak condition and added that, in his opinion, a prime Alexander Volkanovski would have comfortably defeated Topuria.
If he beat me, he's gonna be on the same level as Islam. He gotta beat like someone like me, you know, who can wrestle. He just had easy fights on his career, you know. He beat legit fighters, but not on their prime. If he met Volkanovski 4 years ago, Volkanovski just eat him.
Shil Sonnen suggested that Islam Makhachev may be done competing at lightweight, as making the 155-pound limit has consistently been a major challenge for him. He noted that if Islam secures the welterweight belt, a potential matchup with Ilia Topuria becomes increasingly unlikely. According to Sonnen, the only scenario where that fight could happen is if Islam's welterweight campaign doesn't go as planned and he decides to drop back down to lightweight.
Islam returning to 155 is a real stretch for me. I think that Islam is going to be a lot like Ilia, which is, hey, this is great. Thank goodness I got here. Most unpleasant experience that Islam has had in the sport is just beating the scale at 155. I'm very confident in telling you guys, if Islam has success at 170, it becomes the champion. That whatever dreams you have of Islam versus Ilia haven't gotten closer, they got further apart. If you have a dream of seeing Islam versus Ilia, it's very unlikely, but the best way to get there would be if Islam was to lose at 170.
Dustin Poirier shared his thoughts on the possibility of Ilia Topuria moving up to welterweight to face Islam Makhachev, calling it a bit unrealistic. He mentioned that while he hasn't seen Ilia in person, Islam is a naturally larger fighter at lightweight, and Topuria appears to be on the smaller side. Still, Poirier acknowledged that Ilia possesses the power, skill set, and precision to knock out opponents across divisions, from featherweight to welterweight. Despite that, he emphasized that Topuria has yet to face someone with Islam's size and elite wrestling. Poirier concluded by suggesting that Ilia should focus on defending his lightweight belt a few times before considering a move to a higher weight class.
I think him going to 170 to fight Islam, if Islam wins, is a stretch, you know. Islam's big, man. I've never seen Ilia in person, but he seems smaller. I know, obviously, he can knock anyone out. I do think if they fight, Ilia can knock anybody out from 45 to 170. He has the skills, the power, the technique, and but we've just never seen him in there with somebody that big and somebody with that caliber of wrestling. But I think he should defend the 55 title a few times before that's talked about. We'll see.
Max Holloway weighed in on the possibility of Ilia Topuria moving up in weight, saying that if Ilia continues his winning streak, it would be tough to argue against him earning a shot. He described the potential bout as a massive super fight and praised Topuria's striking power as something truly special. Holloway acknowledged that Ilia is a dangerous opponent in any division. While he admitted he'd love a rematch, he made it clear that the decision is ultimately Ilia's to make, and he has no intention of urging him to stay or criticizing his choices. Holloway concluded by saying Topuria has earned the right to chase big opportunities and that the fight would definitely deliver fireworks if it happens.
I mean, we see what happens, you know, if he does that on the run that he's doing. I mean, it's kind of hard to deny that, you know, and that'd be a freaking huge super fight. And with him having the punching power he has, is just unreal, bro. So you can't count him out or whatever in anything. But I mean, who's to say? You know, that's not my job. I mean, if he goes up, he goes up. You know, he's his man. You know, do I want that fight back? 100%. But And I can't be like, hey, stay down here, blah, 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 and cry about it. So at the end of the day, if he does that, which he probably deserves it, not probably, he deserves it. So I think that would be a fun fight too. I think that it'd be super interesting if that fight ever was booked.
Arnold Allen shared that he'd be intrigued to see a potential clash between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria, though he admitted it's possible Islam may avoid that particular matchup. Allen suggested that Makhachev might be more focused on building his legacy by targeting well-established opponents, especially after taking on a few fighters who had short-knot his camps. Still, he acknowledged that if Islam were to beat Topuria, it would send a powerful message and further solidify his status in the sport.
I'd like to see him fight Islam. I'd like to see him fight Islam, but I mean, I understand why Islam wouldn't want it, right? He wants to fight legit contenders, and he's had like featherweights, ex-featherweights, late notice guys, replacements. He wants to sort of solidify his title reign, but probably is no bigger fight than Ilia, right? If he goes and batters Ilia, looks pretty good.
When asked to choose a winner, Arnold Allen acknowledged that he's made mistakes before by underestimating rising talent. For that reason, he said he's hesitant to count Ilia Topuria out entirely. However, Allen still leans toward Islam Makhachev as the likely victor, though he expects the fight to be closely contested and highly competitive.
Every time I've ruled him out, he proves me wrong, so I'm not going to do it again. Yeah, like I say, I think Islam wins and he gets ironed out, so, but yeah.
Jan Blachowicz described a potential showdown between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria as an exciting matchup for fans. However, he expressed strong confidence in Makhachev, saying Islam is currently operating at the highest level of his career. Blachowicz believes Makhachev has found his rhythm and sees him continuing to dominate the division for the foreseeable future.
But it's gonna be a very good fight for watch. So, but I think Islam is like, you know, right now he got his, you know, prime time, and nobody will stop him. Couple more years, I think.
Cody Brundage shared his perspective on a potential clash between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, praising Topuria's knockout wins over elite fighters like Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski. He stated that if Ilia were to defeat Makhachev, it could catapult him into the all-time greats discussion, possibly even among the top 3. Brundage also highlighted that Ilia's grappling often gets overlooked, pointing to his strong wrestling and jiu-jitsu skills. Despite that, he gives a slight edge to Islam due to his size, and anticipates a close and action-packed fight.
It's a crazy fight. You know, we talked about that. You know, Yusuf obviously at 145, he's on the tear. He's making his come up, and he wants that Ilia fight so bad. They already fought once, but we were talking about if Ilia goes in and knocks out Islam Makhachev, like how high do we put him on the GOAT list? Right? Like to me, I'm like, John Jones is number 1 no matter what. I don't think anybody could surpass John Jones for a long time. Obviously it would take a ton, but everyone in my circle at least is like, man, if he goes and knocks out Islam after knocking out Holloway, after knocking out Volk, he's got to be up there like top 3, and he could do it. I think people, like, he's been knocking all these people out. People really sleep on Ilia's grappling. He's a super high level black belt with really good submissions, really good wrestling, and so I think people are worried, like saying like, oh, well, he'll get out wrestled, but he has great wrestling. So man, I don't know. I would have to go with Islam because he's bigger, and I think weight maybe plays a factor when you have 2 really highly skilled guys, but that would be an absolute banger.
Lol Muhammad criticized Ilia Topuria for attempting to jump straight into lightweight title contention without proving himself in the division first. He suggested that Topuria should face contenders like Armand Sarukian, Justin Gaither, or even Paddy Pimblett before aiming for a title shot. Belal cautioned that if Ilia skips the line and ends up losing, it could damage Islam Makhachev's reputation, similar to how some questioned Islam's win over Volkanovski, who had moved up in weight.
I think he needs to earn it. I think he needs to fight either Oliveira or Justin or even Paddy right now to show the fans that, all right, he is a lightweight. Because you're going to look at it and then you're going to see how much bigger Islam than is him. And then there are people are going to say the same thing that what happened when Islam beat Volkanovski. Oh, well, you just beat a 45er. That's all you did. He's smaller. Look at his title reign. It was a 45er, another 45er. But Volkanovski at the time was number 1 pound for.
Mateusz Gamrot shared that while the matchup between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev sounds thrilling on paper, Topuria's size might work against him. He emphasized that to truly challenge someone like Islam, a fighter needs comparable strength and physical presence. In Gamrot's opinion, Topuria may struggle to match Makhachev's power and overall skill set.
Me, interesting fight, but but I don't know. Topuria is small guy. Islam is really big guy, and I don't think that Topuria has changed against him. Like if you wanna fight with Islam, you have to be like big guy, like similar like him, because he's good everywhere. But if your body is smaller than him, so you don't have change for sure.
Arnold referred to Islam Makhachev as the current top pound-for-pound fighter, but didn't completely dismiss Ilia Topuria's chances. He pointed to Volkanovski's strong grappling performance in his first bout with Islam as an example, suggesting that Topuria might present similar challenges. According to Bonal, Ilia has the tools to push Islam in every aspect of the fight and could be a true test of Makhachev's complete skill set.
I think he's the pound for pound #1 right now, and I think he can win. And what makes me think that Ilia will do really well against Islam is that Volk's first fight with Islam, I'm like, man, Ilia's wrestling is way better than Volk's, and obviously you could see how the striking went.
Jorge Masvidal expressed complete confidence in Ilia Topuria's grappling and takedown defense, even saying he'd bet everything on him. He applauded Topuria's aggressive fighting style and his ability to shut down opponents' wrestling attempts. Masvidal emphasized that a single slip-up against Ilia could turn the tide, as Topuria has the skill to reverse positions in an instant and take control of the fight.
I'd bet the house on Ilia. His grappling, offensively, it's very good. If you shoot in on this guy's legs, and you make a mistake and you're the one going for the takedown, he has a very good chance that he might put your ass.
Michael Chandler also shared his perspective, noting that Islam Makhachev holds a clear size advantage. He acknowledged Makhachev's elite grappling skills but gave Ilia Topuria the edge when it comes to striking. Chandler believes that if Topuria can stay on his feet and avoid being taken down, he has a legitimate shot at winning. Still, he leaned toward Islam as the favorite, citing his experience and well-rounded skill set as key factors.
If Islam fights Ilia, I think there's definitely a size difference. I think Ilia is a lot smaller than Islam. Islam is a big lightweight, a tall lightweight, and he's good in every area. However, Ilia's definitely got the edge in the striking department, and Ilia is very, very, very patient. Now, if he's able to not get taken down and he's able to just patiently break down Islam with those big shots that he lands, the big punches that he lands, it's going to be a good night for Ilia. But I think if Islam gets his hands on him and gets him taken down, grappling with 145-pounders is a lot different than grappling with Islam, who is one of the best grapplers that we've seen in a very long time. He's strong, he's great at doing damage and getting good positions. I'd have to give the edge to Islam just by size, by strength of schedule thus far in defending the belt, but I wouldn't count Ilia out.
Jamahal Hill voiced strong support for Ilia Topuria in a potential matchup with Islam Makhachev. He highlighted Topuria's speed, dynamic striking, and his dangerous knockout power. Hill noted that if Ilia lands cleanly, he has the kind of power that can end a fight instantly, regardless of his opponent's size or weight class.
I believe he's capable of beating Islam. Just what I've seen personally too, just like hand speed, the tricks and the way he plays with his striking game. I believe he's definitely capable of catching Islam. And if he catches anybody, I believe he can knock them out. I believe his power might even carry. Not saying that his size and things like that, he can move up to those higher weight classes, but if he catches it, the way he hits it, if somebody even in the bigger weight class get like that, he can put them on wobble street.
Colby Covington believes Ilia Topuria has what it takes to potentially pull off a stunning upset against Islam Makhachev. He referenced Islam's tightly contested bout with Alexander Volkanovski as evidence that Makhachev isn't unbeatable. Covington also took aim at Islam's showing against Dustin Poirier, calling it unimpressive, something he feels makes a matchup with Ilia all the more intriguing.
I don't know. I think Topuria might upset him. I think he has the ability to upset him. That first Makhachev-Volkanovski fight was really close. A lot of people thought that Volkanovski won that fight. So, I think the blueprint is out there for Makhachev. And I didn't think he looked that good in the last fight versus Dustin. He looked beatable. He didn't look like invincible. So, I think that'll be an interesting fight. Who do you got in that one?
Covington went on to say that the outcome could hinge on whether Islam Makhachev is able to repeatedly bring Ilia Topuria to the mat, or if Ilia can break free and keep the fight on the feet. He pointed out that Topuria has been taken down before, and he's curious to see how Ilia handles Islam's relentless pressure and grappling dominance.
I think that'll be that'll be the key to the fight. Can Makhachev get him to the ground, or is Topuria slippery enough to get away? Because he did get taken down in a couple of his fights. So
Chase Hooper expressed admiration for Islam Makhachev's latest performance, particularly noting how much his striking has evolved. He pointed out that while fighters like Khabib were primarily grapplers, Islam and the new wave of Dagestani fighters are now showcasing well-rounded skill sets. Hooper believes this versatility makes them a serious threat to anyone in the division, and he still sees Islam continuing his winning streak.
Honestly, I was really impressed. Islam's last time out, I felt like his striking was really improving. So I think that's, like, especially when you look back at, like, Khabib's fights, like, he's much more of a pure grappler. And then you see Islam and you see Umar and these newer generation Dagestani guys. I think they're a lot more well-rounded, which sucks for everybody else in the division. But I don't know. I think Islam still takes it.
Yeah. Beneil Dariush shared that he would favor Islam Makhachev in a potential matchup with Ilia Topuria, largely due to Islam's size, his control of distance, and how he blends low kicks into his wrestling game. Dariush believes that this mix of tactics could pose serious problems for Topuria. However, he did admit that Ilia always has the potential to land something big and pull off a surprise finish.
I think it would still go the same. I think, Islam has such a big size advantage, and if he, distance kicks, takedown, rinse and repeat, if he continues to mix those things up, I think it would be a difficult fight for Ilia. But from what I saw, it wouldn't surprise me if he was able to put Makhachev's lights out too.
Corey Sandhagen offered a different take, siding with Ilia Topuria as the likely winner. He explained that Topuria's compact frame makes it more difficult for fighters like Islam Makhachev to secure takedowns. Sandhagen believes that in a striking battle, Ilia holds a clear advantage. He also praised Topuria's defensive awareness and suggested that Islam may struggle to find effective ways to damage him.
I honestly think Ilia would win that fight.
Let me get your breakdown of that fight.
I'm going to actually go against, I think, what most people say, and I honestly think Ilia would win that fight. I think his stature is going to be hard to take down for Islam, and I think if those two are standing, I just think that Ilia is a way, way dangerous guy standing, and I just can't really see Islam hurting him, because his guard is real good, and I think Ilia will win that one.
Demetrius Johnson offered a technical analysis of the matchup, pointing out that Islam Makhachev's southpaw stance helps him use body kicks and lateral movement to manage distance effectively. He also noted that if the fight enters close range, Islam can rely on his judo foundation to bring the fight to the ground and potentially secure a finish there.
Well, Islam's a southpaw, so he's gonna probably throw body kicks to keep his arms busy, keep a distance, move, feint, maybe use some judo to take him down and try to get him to the ground and try to submit him. But once again, I have to see. I have to see what Islam does at JDM.
Johnson also noted that Ilia Topuria becomes extremely dangerous once he finds his range. Even if it takes him some time to adjust, Johnson believes Ilia will eventually dial it in. The key factor, according to him, is whether Islam Makhachev can stay out of Ilia's striking zone, or if he'll get drawn into it and be forced to deal with Topuria's power.
But, I know the one thing that's the factor is that Ilia is always going to focus on getting to the right spot and find his opponents. When he gets there, he's going to unload. If Ilia can't get there, then he's going to figure out another way to get there. So the question is, how does everybody avoid that sweet spot against Ilia? That's the question, because Ilia is going to fight in a 25-minute fight. That's what it comes down to. And then you go from hey, how does Islam keep Ilia away from that spot, or does Islam meet him there? Right? There's so much that goes into it, and my brain is all over the place. So for me to give a clear-cut answer, I'm running around in circles.
In a follow-up interview, Arman Tsarukyan reaffirmed his belief that had Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria faced off at UFC 317, the outcome would have been a devastating knockout. He emphasized that Islam is competing at an entirely different level right now. Still, Tsarukyan was clear about his ultimate ambition, to not only challenge Makhachev but to surpass him and cement himself as the best fighter in the world.
What do you think would have happened if Ilia fought Islam this weekend?
Islam Makhachev.
He would have beaten him
by TKO.
Oh wow, really?
Oh, I mean, that's a different level of fighters.
You think so? Wow.
You can't compare Ilia versus Islam.
Really? I have Ilia #1 pound for pound now.
Yes, because Islam not champion anymore right now.
Right.
But when he get the second title, he's gonna be pound for pound #1.
So you think he beats Jack?
He beats Jack.
Yeah.
Became a pound for pound #1. I'll be pound for pound #2 champion lightweight division, and then beat Islam and became a pound for pound #1.
Joe Rogan voiced his support for Ilia Topuria getting a crack at the lightweight title, stating that Ilia has more than earned the opportunity. He highlighted Topuria's knockout wins over high-level opponents like Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski as clear proof that he's ready to take on the top contenders at 155 pounds.
Because you have a world champion versus a world champion. Like, if anybody deserves a fight for the world title in the next weight class, it's you. It's simple. It's simple. You knocked out Max Holloway. I mean, it's simple. You knocked out Alexander Volkanovski, one of the greatest of all time. It's simple. That's a no-brainer. That's the fight. You know, he doesn't want to fight 45 anymore. He wants to fight 55. World title.
Eddie CHA commended Ilia Topuria for his technical precision, especially his striking accuracy and sense of range. He also highlighted the strong grappling skills Ilia developed during his time with Brave CF. However, CHA raised concerns about how Ilia might deal with a larger, physically stronger opponent like Islam Makhachev. Ultimately, he gave the edge to Islam in a potential matchup.
People probably think I'm crazy, but I think that Ilia can get it done.
Okay.
He's one of my favorite guys to watch right now. His distance game. I mean, if you've seen him when he was like 6 or 7-0 at Brave before the UFC, he would just take guys down and just grapple. You know, I think that was his biggest strength. That's why I'm so impressed with that guy, because for him to be as good in striking in a short amount of time, understanding the game and how he runs his offense, it's phenomenal. So the size factor is my biggest concern, and I think the grappling, we'll see what happens, but I like Ilia on that.
And that wraps up today's video. What are your thoughts on a potential clash between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev? Do you think Ilia has what it takes to dethrone Islam, or will Makhachev's dominance continue? Drop your opinions in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss an update. And while you're here, check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.